Greetings, chess players! My name is Chris Torres, and today I'm joined by Liliana Grace Torres, and this is our daily chess musing for January 17th, 2021. Today was another great day for chess, and especially so for Nils Grandelius, who is off to a perfect start in the 2021 Tata Steel Chess Tournament. The grandmaster who hails from Sweden is the only player to score 2 wins in the first 2 rounds in Wijk. Next in the standings is a fearsome trio consisting of Magnus Carlsen, Fabiano Caruana, and Anish Giri, who are all just a half point behind the leader. The only victors from round 2 were Grandelius and Caruana, and they both won in exciting fashion with the black pieces. Let's examine the key moments from both games. So we join Jan-Krzysztof Duda and Nils Grandelius on move 23. Nils plays Queen G4, where his queen is now perfectly placed to be a part of an attack using Rook E5 followed by Rook H5, and then possibly even fun stuff like Rook takes H2, King takes H2, and Queen H5 mate. 24 Queen D1. Duda can either play Knight F4 or Queen F1 to be able to support an H3 push to put a stop to Black's evil plans. However, both of these plans, as we will see, have major drawbacks. A better defense would have been Queen to A5, then after Rook E5, Knight F4, and Bishop H6. In this variation, removing the guard with 25 G5 doesn't work because Queen can go to C7. White's knight can plan on moving to D5, and the B7 pawn is a liability for Black. But Duda played 24 Queen to D1, after which Nils Grandelius plays Rook to E5. If allowed to, this rook will move to H5. So Duda chooses the Knight F4 path, as the Queen to F1 doesn't stop Rook to H5. But let's go ahead and look at Queen F1 real fast. Had he played 25 Queen F1, Rook H5, Rook B1, and then Rook H6 is a clever way to form a Rook and Queen battery in a closed file. Rook takes B7, Queen H5, and now White's defenses are overwhelmed. Every defensive measure is insufficient, including the natural-looking H4, Queen takes H4, GX H4, Rook takes H4, Queen H3, and then Rook takes H3, mate. Back to the actual game at hand with 25 Knight F4. Grandelius still plays G5, removing the guard one way or another. 26 H3, which is better than 26 Knight D5, Rook E6, Queen F1, Rook H6 again, Knight E7 check, King H8, Knight F5, Rook takes F5, EX F5, and Queen H5. And there's that battery in the H file. White must sacrifice either the rook or queen on G2 just to survive a little bit longer. Back to the actual game. 26 H3, kicking the queen away. 26 Queen D7. But Nils is still threatening mate on H3 if the knight were to move. Queen takes F3. If given the choice of being checkmated or losing the knight, you choose losing the knight. Rook E7. Obviously, the knight on F4 isn't moving anywhere on account of the pin. Rook to G2. A reasonable alternative would be H4, which moves White's weak pawn forward to engage Black's troublesome G5 pawn. Let's take a look at it. If 28 H4, H6, Rook G2, Queen C7, Rook AG1, GX F4, G4, and Bishop F6. Black still would have white on the ropes. Back to the actual game with 28, rook g2. Nils responds with queen to c7, adds more pressure to the pin. Queen h5, Duda hits the eject button, gets the queen out of the pin. Gx f4, and Grandelius finally makes his decisive capture. Gx f4, queen takes f4, 31, queen takes c5. Duda plays on, hoping for a miracle. Queen to h4, rook g3, king h8, rook a to g1, b6, queen d5, queen f4, but Grandelius's technique is infallible. 35 c5, bx c5, queen takes c5, queen e5, 37, queen c6, rook e to f7, rook to g5, queen to f4, 39 e5, queen takes f2, 40, queen e4, rook e7, and Duda realizes there will not be a miracle today and resigns. And now let's look at our other decisive game of the day. We join Alexander Danchenko and Fabiano Caruana on move 19. Danchenko plays e5 with the intention of moving it to e6 to attack Black's king. Knight b6, 20 e6, queen d5, which threatens queen takes a2. 21, ex f7 check. King f8, Caruana's king should be safe here for at least a few moves. 22 h4. Danchenko advances more pawns into the attack, but such pawn attacks take time to develop, and Danchenko does not have time. Alternatively, he could have tried defending with 22 b3, but Caruana would have found 22 rook h3, and Fabiano would have all the ingredients necessary for a tasty attack. But back to our game at hand, 22 h4. And Caruana, of course, plays 22, queen takes a2, to which white responds with 23, queen takes g6. So both sides are simultaneously attacking each other's kings. White's king, however, is clearly in way more danger, as Black's king can use White's own pawn on f7 as a most effective shield. 23 b3 seals in Danchenko's king. 24, bishop e1, c4, rook takes d4, knight a4. Knights on the rim are said to be grim, but not this knight. Caruana is threatening queen takes b2. 26, queen b1, white must defend, and now I will give you 1 minute to spot Caruana's next move. (26) bishop a3. Caruana is using overpowering force on b2. 27, queen takes a2. Danchenko acquiesces. 27, bx a2. And now Caruana's pawn is threatening to promote to a queen on a1. King c2. Rook b8. Certainly not. 28 a1 equals queen straight away, because 29 b4 check, bishop takes b4, and there goes the queen. So after 28 rook b8, 29, rook d8 stops the pawn from promoting and avoids the mate. What's the mate, you asked? bxa3, rook b2 check, king c1, a1 equals queen, checkmate. And back to 29, rook d8 check. Rook takes d8, of course, bxa3, c3, beautiful technique by Caruana. Bishop g3, rook d2 is a nice little fork, and Caruana will go ahead another piece. King to b3, knight c5, check. Danchenko has had enough and resigns, given the fact that even after king takes c3, knight e4, check, king b4, knight takes g3, rook a1, and knight takes e2. Looks very painful. So we've had 2 really great days of chess after just 2 rounds in Wijk on Z. If you are like me, you are really looking forward to round 3. So here are the pairings. As always, I recommend visiting the official tournament website, TataSteelChess.com. Also, be sure to check out the Daily Chess Musings Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter @TorresChess. Join our Daily Chess Musings Club on chess.com. And find all the games in PGN format at dailychessmusings.com. And with that, I bid you adieu until tomorrow. But before you go, please remember to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss tomorrow's recap of all the action from round 3 of the 2021 Tata Steel Chess Tournament.